Greetings, I'm Mike Writer, and today, I'm doing the wavy hand things. And so we were covering our Game Boy Advance and the, introduction with the new Nintendo Switch service. And I was quite a bit of a Game Boy collector as a kid. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I even got a collector of the era, so I've got 2 SPs, a black one and a Zelda one, which came with a mintish cap. This is actually going to be covering the first lot of games I'm going to be covering. The ones were actually already in the collection. That's mintish cap, Superstar Saga, Super Mario Bros. 3. Sadly, no, I never had it. The e-reader or the cards to go with it, so first time to play at them. And Super Mario Super Circuit. Those are the easy ones to think about. Really, and those are the easy ones I could easily go about. There's 2 other games I've never. The WarioWare I don't actually own, unless you count a. Unless you count this, my 3DS. This is actually my new 3DS. The original 3DS I actually did have an early 3DS, so and I also got Maximum Velocity, which is one of the next games I'm going to be covering. Maximum Velocity and F-Zero, Maximum Velocity and a handful of others also came out. Were coming out. They got Fire Emblem. Very, very, very nice. And then she's got a sequel, which I'm going to cover later. Same with Golden Sun, which has also been announced. Very nice game. And Metroid Fusion. I think the games that I think will probably make it to the system are, again, Wii exclusives. The sequel to Golden Sun, The Lost Days. This actually has a code with it requires a code from Golden Sun to transfer progress over. You can actually transfer from one version of the Golden Sun. It's the only tech game which you can actually transfer from a virtual console or Switch Online version to the physical game and back again without because. And then Fire Emblem has a second one, which is Sacred Stones. Where this is actually is known as the Blazing Blade. It's known in Japan as that, but and then there is GBA Legend, which I think will go with the Maximum Velocity F-Zero game. Those are the games those 3 games I really do think is going to be most popular. There are some games which were mentioned during that Nintendo Direct that aren't going to be. I don't think are going to be in, or at least in her way. The first 2 are Advance Wars. It's a gothic cover, and Advance Wars 2. Both of these are actually in the original. I've got a remake coming out. Capcom also announced at the same time a Mega Man Battle Network collection, and I've got a good number of them. And I really do mean a good number of them. I've got 3, 4, again, 2 different versions. And 6, and Team Team Protoman and Team Blues in Japan. This is Rockman. This is for it. Yeah. Yes. And I should point out the original Game Boy was region free, so I could play both of these. They won't talk to each other, but they will play the same game. So those lot of games I don't see coming out in a hurry. But we're going to go back to the games that I do think will be coming out. We're going with the Mario and Nintendo safe games. Mario Golf Advanced Tour. It's a decent golfing game. It's probably one of the ones I would really do think it should be kept. However, this might be delayed due to the GameCube compatibility if there was going to be a GameCube version. Super Mario Ball. Yep. It's a pinball game with Mario. Kirby Nightmare to Dreamland. Yeah, I think that's Angry Eyes Kirby on there. And these are, I should point out that what versions you've seen are the European or UK or, and in quite a few cases, the US, and except for that Japanese one I showed earlier, it's usually European or US. In some cases, UK version, which is part of Europe. There's Metroid Zero Mission. I should point out this one's more of a. This one's going to be one of those I can see not being a rush out due to it being a remake. But not being a remake doesn't prevent Wario Land from appearing. And there's Pokemon Pinball. Pokemon Pinball has a unique feature if you were to use the Game Boy Player. I wish I could have the Game Boy Player around to show you in the background. But yeah, that's got a vibration function. Might be included. Now that's all the games in my personal collection. That I think we would, that I could see easily being on the Nintendo Switch Online service with a handful of games I don't think will be on in Hawaii. There are some games I'm going to say would be appropriate to bring on, but have reasons to not be on. Like the Advance Wars and Mega Man is Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. This game is basically been remade onto the Switch already, so I can see this one not making its way on. Three more games. Zelda and Zelda 4 Swords. This one I could see being included just because the 4 Swords content is unique to this, but it isn't unlikely in my opinion. Yoshi's Island. This is probably one of the most hated versions of the game. One, because it's been constantly brought up during the N64 at the Wii U era, because we didn't get the SNES version, and we've got the SNES version. So, and another SNES game is Super Mario World or Super Mario Advance 2. Which, pretty nice. Okay, now we're getting. There's a few more I could see. I think people will go, why are these colours, these categories coming up are going to be a bit weird. Now this is a different. Now I believe the NES Classics will never make it across because these are emulated versions of the SNES originals, and for my collection that's Zelda, Mario Bros, and Ice Climbers. Yeah, that's the only way I could get to Ice Climbers in Smash. And I've included Castlevania here. Yes, Simon Belmont. I was earlier before. I've got weird. Now we've got cleared up most of the side of this side of the table, but the 2 games that left over there. I bought one of these loose, which is why I got it. But I don't think these games will make it to the Switch Online, because these are Breath of Fire 1 and 2. And I should point out that whilst it cost me £7.99 here, this was a couple of years ago when it was very, very, very cheap to get hold of Game Boy Advance type games, because the Nintendo DS was just about to take off. Yeah, I collected most of this during the late Game Boy Advance era and the early DS era. The reason why Breath of Fire is going to be ignored, I think won't be happening, is because these are basically remakes of the same games that run now on the SNES, the Super Nintendo games, of version of the service. So, now there is something that I do treasure in my collection, a treasure game. And my opinion, will it stay or will it go? Well, I think it might be included. Well, we've got the original game on the Mega Drive or Sega Genesis collection, so, but I know Ubisoft as well. It does make a bit of a challenge. There is the Sega Master System versions of Fantasy Star, I believe. But basically, 7 Fantasy Star 1, 2, and 3 are on here. In my opinion, I believe there is Fantasy Star collections on the various stars. The only game I have played isn't actually on this collection. Actually, I have played one on here. While I don't think this particular game will appear, the Sega Arcade Collection, which includes Afterburner, Space Harrier, Outrun, and Super Hang-On, won't appear in this particular form. This particular game would be over. These games I think are already included in the original format, or near enough as it can make no difference. But Sega's got a handful of Sega exclusive games, and I mean Game Boy Advance. Sega's got a handful of Game Boy Advance games. First of all is the Sonic Advance. Very nice. But then there's also Sonic Advance 2, which goes along with it, with Sonic Advance 3. I do not think these will appear that easily, but due to the fact that they are basically Sega games, and there's a good chance it could appear. But there is also another Sega exclusive game which is called Sonic Battle. This one's a bit weird because I bought a 2-pack, which is basically they put 2 games in the same pack as one. So I've got 2 copies of Sonic Advance 1. And now we're moving on to some weird ones. This one, Jaleco, is probably, and Epic Games, believe it or not, could prevent Jazz Jack Rabbit here from coming on. And yes, this is the US version, and I've seen a few US versions before, but this is one of the few I know is the US version. This is, in my opinion, a nightmare. Rock and Roll Racing by Blizzard. well, it wasn't Blizzard when it was originally released, but this is actually a remake of a SNES game and a Sega Mega Drive game. So this game can appear in two different formats in addition to this, as well as other stuff. So that is going to be unlikely. Yeah, Metal Slug. Not sure how much this is going to be in, but SNK's great, brilliant sprite work. I'm not sure about it popping up. Two arcade classics, and I think these are basically Game Boy Advance replications of arcade games. I believe the Pac-Man stuff is already in the game collection, and half of these arcade games are going to be pretty much gone. Are probably going to be better replicated with more towards original things. So those are my collection don't think will work, and I think that's almost all of them. I can think so many of you are going to say, what about this line of colourful cartridges? If you can't guess by now, these are Pokemon games. Red Leaf and Leaf Green. Yeah, this is believe it or not a fake Sapphire, but I've got original Sapphire in another somewhere else. And these are that's probably a bit. This is a proper emerald, but this one the foil came off over the years because I spent the last 20 years in my pocket, and it's more like that. Yes, I have multiple emeralds. Now, we're going to move on to mapping some games that I don't think are going to appear easily. Both Duke Nukem and Grand Theft Auto appear on the Game Boy Advance. Duke Nukem Advance is very close to being a Duke Nukem 3D clone, other than it doesn't follow Duke Nukem 3D at all. It's pretty much exclusive to this system. And Grand Theft Auto, it's basically a top-down drive around, very much like the original Grand Theft Auto 1 on the PlayStation 1 era on PC. Grand Theft Auto 2 on PC, no 3D, and no Laszlo. Right. One of the games was mentioned was actually A Tales of Symphonia. The first game in the series, believe it or not, is Tales of Fantasia. Tales of Fantasia, believe it or not, is in my opinion one of the best games one of the better games in the series, and this is not a particularly bad part considering that this is the only official version of it in English that I can actually get hold of today. And admittedly, I got hold of it when it was brand new. I have the box somewhere in my storage. Now we've cleared out for most of these games. I think we'll be doing this big pile here. And these are all got the same reason. 2 copies of Final Fantasy Tactics. Why 2 copies? This is my original copy. Very much got destroyed. I bought this one a couple of years after the fact, and I can play use it to play against people. Then I have a good number of Final Fantasy games, such as Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dark Souls. This is a decent version of this game, although admittedly there are other versions I could see Square Enix putting out on the Switch, so these might be unlikely. I mean, Tactics Advance is probably the only game I could see bringing out. Of course, there's 4. This one's a US version. 5, also the US version. And 6, a European version. These are all very much very good games, but not the ideal way to play it. Although the ideal way to play it is on the original Super Nintendo hardware or emulation copies of. But those versions aren't particularly bad, they just sound awful. Now, one game I don't see coming out because an announced remake is actually on the Switch already, is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. And yes, Chain of Memories is actually, this is one of the original US copies. Problem is, that one's not going to be very much useful. Then there is one game I don't see coming out. This is a remake of Final Fantasy Adventure. This is normally known as Sword of Mana outside of after they stopped putting Final Fantasy on everything. So Sword of Mana and version of the Mana series, which includes Secret of Mana, Secret of Mana 3, Secret of Mana 2, which I can't remember the name of, but Sekindetsu 3, as I still remember it. This is like a remake of Sekindetsu 1, which was on the original Game Boy. And the original Game Boy version's on the is actually already available on the eShop already on the Mana collection. Now, I've gone through every game but 3, we don't know, and these 3 are going to be, I don't think are going to pop on the eShop collection at all. This is pretty much a good reason why it isn't. This is basically two videos of a few episodes of a Cartoon Network TV show. So no, I don't think that's going to ever happen. And another game I don't think will ever happen is Konami's Boktai. Well, I could see them bringing it out, but the problem is, believe it or not, this black square on these two cartridges, they are solar sensors. So if I were to put it in a Game Boy, you can see it hangs out like this, and before you ask, it hangs out like this on the classic hardware as well. What does this really mean? It means that you can actually charge your amount of UV light actually have in that the sensor will affect how much your weapons do and stuff like that. And there's also Hideo Kojima fact, which is something I can't really comment about, other than it's a weird game, and if you know Hideo Kojima, very good game. I mean, those two are about. And that is, believe it or not, my thoughts on all the Game Boy games that I own that could go into the Game Boy Advance collection. This has been Mike Shetwriter. See you guys next time.